To the editorial.
To the editorial. This is the serious one. This is the serious podcast. This is the Tomato Pulpit.
Sure is.
We were on a brief hiatus.
Yeah. We've been away.
As one of us decided to jet set across South America.
I was out of there.
And the other stayed here in the good old US of A.
And got caught up on Disney Plus.
Got caught up on Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Because that's what you do when the Republic collapses.
True.
You subscribe to Disney Plus, and that's exactly what I did. So I have two segments on this special episode of the Tomato Pulpit. One of them is new, and the other one is not. The new one I'm calling The Ketchup.
The ketchup. I love ketchup.
As you've been gone, things have happened.
Yeah.
And I'm here to catch you up.
Get me in. Let's run it.
So I got about 7 stories, 7 headlines.
Okay.
To catch you up on.
Let's go in on them. I got questions about
All
them.
right.
Sure.
So first one that we're going to talk about, Texas. Big things are happening in Texas.
Yeah.
So Donald Trump, in his infinite stupidity,
Yep.
realizes the writing on the wall is pretty much here for the midterms. The Republicans are not looking to be in the greatest position. So Trump has requested that the Texas legislature redraw the map to favor the Republican Party so Trump can hopefully pick up 5 new seats in the midterms.
Yikes.
This is not technically illegal, but it's been standard practice in the U.S. that every census, every 10 years, the majority party gets to redraw the maps.
Right.
The Supreme Court has decided that it's called gerrymandering when you redraw the maps in your favor. Packing and cracking is the method. You pack people in or you crack districts apart. The whole idea is you just want to build a district that has your people in it.
Sure.
So you win. It's
Right.
essentially the congressmen and women choosing their voters, which is so stupid. But the Supreme Court said it's totally fine to gerrymander on political and party lines, but it's not legal to gerrymander on racial or ethnic lines.
Interesting.
Which, as the Republican Party is becoming the fascist regime of the United States and fully embracing white nationalism, there really isn't a difference anymore between racial gerrymandering and political gerrymandering.
True.
So, in an effort to stop the Texas Republicans from changing the maps, the Democrats fled. They up and got in planes, and you know where they came?
Where?
They came here, baby.
Uh-oh.
They came to Illinois. They came to the Blue Oasis. J.B. Pritzker literally just said, come here. Come on in. We're here for you.
Yikes.
So the whole idea of the Democrats leaving Texas was to stop this special session from happening.
Okay.
So technically the legislature is not in session right now, but the governor can call a special session for like 30 days or something.
Okay.
So he called the special session to redraw the maps. But you need a quorum to do all of that nonsense.
Yeah.
So the Democrats said, fuck you, we're not going to give you a quorum. They left.
Wow.
They have just been kind of hiding out until the special session has ended. And there has been just a slew of, randomness happening on the internet or even just in the body politic, where Ken Paxton, who's the attorney general who's running for Senate, was like, we got to arrest these Democrats. We got to arrest them. We need the FBI and we need to go arrest them, which is not, there's no law, there's no precedent as to any of that happening.
For sure.
Most recent update, I believe this is like today, the Democrats said they're going to go back to Texas, and then the governor said, well, I'm just going to call another special session. So it's likely that the map is going to end up being drawn in the Republicans' favor. But the Pandora box of gerrymandering is essentially, well, if you do it, I'm going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
So Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, has said, okay, Texas, if you do this, I'm going to redraw all of California's maps.
Oh, my God.
So this is where we're at. I can expect Illinois is probably going to think about doing the same thing. New York is going to think about doing the same thing. So it's all just going to become a gerrymandered shit show. And honestly, I blame the Supreme Court. Because if they just said it's not lawful for biased political entities to draw political maps, then we wouldn't have this problem.
For sure.
In some states, like Illinois, it's a nonpartisan group that does it.
Yeah.
But that's not every state. So
Certainly not in Texas.
certainly not in fucking Texas. So that's story one. Catch up
Okay.
on that.
That was a fun story.
Number 2. Do you remember Jeffrey Epstein?
Number 2, come on down. Yeah.
Hell yeah, he's dead. But his attaché, his woman, his lady collector person,
Okay.
Ghislaine Maxwell,
Yeah.
she is in jail for
Right.
obvious reasons. But given this whole of like, release the Epstein files, Trump has, backpedaled egregiously on all of that. And then the DOJ, Department of Justice, said that they met with Miss Ghislaine, and in their deposition, I guess she gave Trump glowing remarks.
Oh.
And this is the man, Donald Trump, is the man that was allegedly Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. And she goes to tell the DOJ, he did nothing wrong. I never saw him do anything.
Of course not.
So there's a rumor going around that the Trump administration is going to release the transcript
Okay.
as like evidence that Trump is not in the Epstein files, or he's in it, but he's not a bad character, which is all bullshit.
Of course.
This is a man who has publicly, well, I guess it was in a private situation, but did not publicly announce it, where he feels comfortable grabbing women by the pussy. You can do whatever you want when you're famous.
Yeah.
He said that he is totally fine going into the dressing rooms of underage women for pageants because he's the owner and he could do it. Like, the man's a fucking creep. He was found liable for raping a woman. Like, the man's in the Epstein files. The man is guilty, allegedly.
Guilty.
So that's fun. That's a little Epstein drama.
Yeah. I've been seeing a little bit about that around.
Yeah, it's floating. I hope, or I hoped, I don't know if it is anymore, that like him backpedaling on that was going to break the dogma.
Yeah.
So when he was running for election, it was all about like, we got to eat the rich, drain the swamp. It's these super crazy pedophile Democrats, and I'm here to save you from that.
Mm-hmm.
That was the dogma. And it was all around these like Epstein files. I'm going to release the Epstein files. And then he's here and he's just like, what Epstein files? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my God.
It's a hoax. So, I don't know. I'm hopeful that it's a chink in the armor and people will start to remove themselves from the Kool-Aid
Yeah.
a little bit. Like, they're not in the cult anymore. I'm hoping that it kind of breaks the programming a little bit.
I saw a little TikTok today that was just like a before and after Trump couple like voters who were just like, I'm going to vote for Trump for this reason. And then a couple months later to the cameras, just like, I was so wrong. I can't afford this. I can't afford that.
Correct.
I thought I was voting for this. I'm not voting for anything near. I didn't vote for anything near that. And
And to that, all I have to say is, fuck you.
yeah,
Fuck you. You voted for hatred.
you did.
You did. And you're not dumb enough to say, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that feels like. Fuck you. You know exactly what you did. You voted for hatred.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't really have a lot of sympathy, but I'm hopeful that they'll figure it out.
Right. I'm hopeful too.
Next, Israel, baby.
Oh,
Israel.
shit.
Israel is still committing genocide in Gaza. But a recent update was Bibi Netanyahu,
Okay.
Prime Minister of Israel, the Hitler of our generation,
Yikes.
has publicly said that he is going to, quote unquote, take over Gaza, that they are working the process of, quote, taking over Gaza,
Yikes.
which is just another, like, 2 words to say occupation.
Right.
They're going in, they're going to occupy Gaza, they're killing the Palestinian people. There was a report that came out by a British journalist who was in the area, and he was saying that when they were stopped by IDF soldiers, they were searched for baby formula. They were going to confiscate any baby formula going into Gaza
What?
to kill the kids, to kill the population. It's a genocide. So that is not great. And the United States is complicit in all of it. And it's just sad. It's a sad time to be alive
That is so sad.
when you're witnessing all of this. And so, like, I mean, picture this. I'm like brewing and stewing all the time here while you were in Colombia living your best life, as you should, as is your right.
Hard knock
But I'm
life.
thinking about pulpit and like what to talk about and all this stuff, and I've like created this list, and I'm like, fuck, what's going on? Fuck, what's going on? Fuck, oh my god. And then it's, you know, you get this good mix of existential dread and, I don't know, apathy at the same time, where it's like, I need to remove myself, but I also need to know what's happening.
Yeah.
So that's
Tough line.
it is, and we try, and that's what this podcast is for. We're trying to, you know, walk the tightrope. Okay, number 4. This one's kind of fun, even though it's still Trump. He wants to reclassify marijuana. Did you hear about this?
I heard about it, and I didn't look into it, but that's interesting. What's he saying?
So allegedly, he was at like a fundraiser or something, and some, you know, bigwig schmoozed him about reclassifying weed.
Okay.
And so he wants to take it from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3.
Okay.
So it would no longer be categorized as like as bad as heroin.
That's a fair thing.
It would now be categorized in the same vein as steroids or I forget what else was a class 3. But
that's fair. I'd argue a little bit of
I'm
weed
fine.
is like you're juicing.
I'm totally,
You know?
especially now with like the potency being as intense as it is.
Yeah, it's up there.
But I'm fine with it being taken off Schedule 1. I think this should have happened decades ago, because what this does is it allows universities and private institutions to research.
Right.
Because a Schedule 1 means there's no beneficial aid, or there's nothing beneficial about this product at all.
Right.
That's what Schedule 1 means.
Which is babushka.
Because
if people get their medical card.
Exactly. And if marijuana can give a cancer patient pain relief instead of taking OxyContin, yes, please do that.
Yeah.
So I'm here for that. I really hope that actually does happen. But it's so random to what else is happening.
Yeah.
It seems so it's just not in line with where the party's currently going.
Does it, in a little way, feel like he's willing to like give in on that to maybe distract from something else? Maybe like that's all. That's you know how
90% of this is a distraction.
It's smoke and mirrors left and right.
It is.
Always.
And I don't know who he's placating to with that announcement, if it's part of his base or if he's trying to get new people involved. But I don't know. I thought it was like, out of all the shit that he's doing, that's one silver lining, perhaps.
There we go.
Then it gets serious again because he sent troops into D.C.
Yikes.
Did you hear about this?
I didn't hear that he sent troops into D.C., but I heard that he was threatening to send them into Chicago, right?
Yes, that is also true. But he officially, he activated the National Guard. They are currently patrolling the streets of D.C. because he claims crime is crazy. And what most of the reports are saying is that it's kind of business as usual in D.C., except for there seems to be a intensity around homelessness and removing homeless people from DC and putting them in concentration camps or prisons, or just removing them from the area.
Weird.
And this speaks to his desperate desire to be a dictator.
Yeah.
This is straight from the dictator's playbook.
For sure.
So he's threatening to also activate the National Guard and military in Chicago, Los Angeles, which, let's just take a beat and think about what demographic of people are the mayors of these 3 cities. They are black people. DC is a black woman. LA is a black woman. Chicago is a black man. And yet the crime rate in these cities, yes, we're major cities and, millions and millions of people live here. So crime is inevitable. The crime per capita is much less than a Republican-run city, say Jacksonville or Louisville.
Not surprising.
But they're not going to send the guard there because it's run by white people.
Yeah.
So that's really scary because this is like full fascist.
Yeah, that's full-blown terrifying.
This is full fascism. Full fucking fascist. Straight from the dictator playbook.
Full-blown terrifying.
And this is all part of what I think is a distraction, because it's said in political theory that, or I forget, I think it was Clinton, one of his advisors, the saying was like, it's the economy, stupid. That's all voters care about. They don't really care about social issues. They don't care about anything else. It's the economy, stupid. And I think part of this whole invasion of DC and this threat to other major cities is to distract a little bit. Well, one, it's to make Trump feel like a dictator, and then two is to distract from inflation hitting 3%.
Yeah.
Inflation just hit 3%,
Yikes.
which it's only going to go up because as the tariffs start to hit, it's just going to keep getting higher and higher.
Right.
And I understand people aren't historians and they're not, especially historical economists. So, and history's boring in high school and all the other classes. I get that. But when it comes to tariffs, everything in the history says it's a dumb fucking idea. Everything. It has never worked in the history of this country. Tariffs have never worked. Like the Smoot-Hawley tariffs, where it was one of the reasons why the Great Depression happened in the first place.
Yeah.
We never learn. We never learn.
Learning's for suckers.
It is for suckers, and that's why the public Department of Education is being destroyed. So the last bit of sad news, but it's the catch-up. We're catching up into what's happening.
Yeah, thanks.
The Supreme Court has been formally asked to repeal same-sex marriage.
I saw that.
So, story goes is there was a Kentucky woman, county clerk, and she refused to sign a marriage certificate for a gay couple after the Supreme Court decision. She went to jail for 5 or 8 days or something, and whatever. So her case went up to the court, and the Supreme Court said, "No, gay marriage is legal. You fucked up. You gotta follow it."
Yeah.
But now she has petitioned the court to rethink that decision, and process is, I think 4 or 5 have to agree to hear it, or 4 have to agree to hear it, and then it'll be a 5-4 majority to decide if it gets overturned or not.
Okay.
I'm looking at Roberts and maybe Kavanaugh as... No, probably not even Kavanaugh. Gay marriage is going to disappear.
It better not.
It is.
No.
It is. They're going to do the same thing with abortion where it's like, oh, it should be a state's issue, and so we are removing it because it's not fair and the state should decide. So it's going to go exactly like abortion. We all, knew that this was going to happen, but it's just kind of happening at a speed that we really don't like.
Yeah, it's terrible, man.
And it's... Another part of this has been floated to remove the ruling on interracial marriage, which I believe is Loving versus Virginia. There was a senator from Indiana who was like, yeah, we should totally let the states decide on interracial marriage.
That's crazy.
What the fuck is going on?
Crazy.
What
crazy,
the fuck is going on?
This can't be real life, I feel like.
Yeah. I need to go to Canada. I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, for real.
So, welcome to the catch-up.
Thanks.
Catch up to my existential dread.
Yeah, thanks.
On a daily basis.
I'm caught up, that's for sure.
So, and that's literally just a bit of what happened while you were enjoying life in another country.
Yeah, I wasn't on my phone that much either while I was over there.
No, good for you. Good for you. Tune out and live your best life.
I was.
So, take a breather, take a minute, process your existential dread, deep breaths, count to 5. Eat a sour candy.
Yeah, I might have to actually.
Say your mantras.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get into our new story here.
Let's do it.
Okay, so this is gonna be the longer section of this program, and this is gonna be our first profile in assholery.
Let's go.
Okay, our first asshole is Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell.
Mitch
Come on
McConnell.
down.
You're the first asshole on the Tomato Pulpit. I don't know where I was going with that. Okay. Do you know anything about Mitch McConnell?
I've heard a couple things, but go ahead.
Probably from me.
Yeah, mostly.
Addison Mitchell McConnell III, born the only child, February 20th, 1942, in Sheffield, Alabama.
Of course, he's an only child from Alabama.
Hell yeah, brother. His family owned and operated a funeral home. That's the beginning of his story.
Yeah.
At 2 years old in 1944, he was diagnosed with polio.
Wow.
To a point where his family, quote, almost went broke to give him treatment.
Wow, that's a good story.
But leave it classic Republicans to, you've suffered something intense.
Yeah.
And then you're going to pull the ladder behind you as others also suffer.
No way.
Classic Republican.
Hate to hear it.
1950, the family moved to Augusta, Georgia because his father was in the military. And then in 1956, he finally landed in Louisville, Kentucky, where he attended DuPont Manual High School.
DuPont.
And this was kind of the beginning of when he was dipping his toes into politics. So in high school, he went for the student council, and he was elected president in his junior year.
Wow.
And that's the beginning. That was the vice
Yeah.
of elections and government and pseudo power that really kept Mitch going for the rest of his life.
Interesting.
After high school, he graduated and went to college at the University of Louisville, where he got a bachelor's degree in poli-sci.
Poli-sci.
Something important to know here, that this was happening at the same time as Vietnam.
Mm.
So there were, special cases that if you were going to a college that you wouldn't be drafted and stuff like that. So
Right.
keep that in the back of your head a little bit.
Okay, I'll think about that.
But in his early days, Mitch was described as a pretty liberal guy.
No way.
In a way, yeah. He liked the downtrodden man, whatever.
Okay.
The people who are, bad on their luck or whatever that phrase
Right.
is. And he actually attended the March on Washington in 1963.
No way.
Yeah, he witnessed the I Have a Dream speech in 1963. And yet this man would go on to allow some of the most racist, sexist, homophobic shit to happen in the American body politic. But in 1967, he got his law degree from the University of Kentucky. In March of 1967, he joined the Army Reserve.
Okay.
But he avoided going to Vietnam because he experienced something called optic neuritis, which is an inflammation of your second cranial nerve.
Do you believe him?
Sure, I think you had it, but the thing with optic neuritis is it's curable.
Was it back then?
Probably.
Okay.
Scientists say that you just need steroids, just injection of steroids or something, and then it'll, fix you right up.
Okay.
But he had optic neuritis, so he was discharged from the Army
Interesting.
Reserve.
Lucky guy.
And his discharge was expedited because Senator John Cooper wrote a letter to the commanding officer at Fort Knox, where he was, urging that his discharge be expedited because he needed to go attend NYU. Ladies and gentlemen, Mitch McConnell did not go to NYU.
That's when the lying started. Is that what you're trying to say?
It probably started before that, but this is when we really get the idea of his character.
Yeah, it's the clear lying is starting.
Favoritism is happening. He's playing Who Do You Know, and he's, letting others his age die in Vietnam while he cozies up to some white bigots.
Baller move.
In 1968, he married his first wife, Cheryl Redman, and had 3 daughters.
Wow.
The funny thing about his first wife, though, is that she is a prolific feminist.
No way.
Yes.
To this day?
To this day. At Smith College, I think is where she works, or worked. And yeah, she is a saint of women's rights.
Prolific feminist.
And he has one daughter who is also a liberal diva. She runs a blog or something about, fuck Wall Street.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah, anything to challenge your father because he sucked and still sucks.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll kind of get into his early career now that we've kind of entered his first marriage. We've talked about his first marriage, the general ethos of his upbringing, where he comes from, downtrodden Alabama man who thinks about the little guy but will end up selling out to big money.
For sure.
His early career started, he was working, he's kind of flip-flopping between D.C. and Kentucky.
Okay.
He was doing some local work in Kentucky, and then he would kind of go back and forth to D.C. In 1971, he ran for a seat in the Kentucky legislature for the first time. He ended up getting disqualified.
What?
Because he didn't live in Kentucky at the time.
Cheater.
Which, come on, dude. Come on. How do you not, meet the residency requirements before running for office?
Trying to pull a fast one.
So in 1974, he became the Deputy Assistant Attorney General under President Ford.
Okay.
This is when he would become buddy-buddy or, bump uglies with people like Robert Bork and Antonin Scalia, who are two assholes for another day.
I wonder how Mitch got that job.
Good question. I'm not sure. Didn't find that in my research, but I imagine he maybe blew somebody under the table.
Something had to go down, and I'm curious.
Allegedly. Alleged.
Either something or someone went down.
Maybe. In 1977, he got his first elected office as the Jefferson County Judge/Executive. Essentially, it's like a mayoral kind of role. Like he was the mayor of this county type deal.
It's not a bad gig.
No, I mean, sure. And he wanted elected office forever, right? That was his whole goal.
Yeah.
He ended up being reelected in 1981 after he beat his opponent, outspending him 3-1. So
Oh my God.
I see this as kind of the beginning of Mitch realizing that, money wins.
That's a shame.
So 1984, he ran for the United States Senate. He was pretty moderate in the beginning, it seems, by all accounts. He was even pro-choice and pro-union.
Really?
Yes. So it was said that he kind of sold out, or he would say these kind of more moderate type of things just to pull voters in. And then as soon as he got elected office, he's like, fuck you guys.
Classic. What a beast.
Yeah, exactly. So in this campaign, he was up against a pretty prominent Democrat who was pretty favorable. I think the discrepancy between their favorability was like 40 points, like a big gap. So he recruited, or I don't know how this happened, but Roger Ailes ended up coming into the game.
Okay, who's Roger Ailes?
So Roger Ailes is the founder of Fox News.
Uh-oh.
He's a big Republican Party guy, and I think he was working for the Nixon campaign at the time, or he was working with Nixon, and somehow found his way to Mitch McConnell. They ran an ad, a very negative ad. By this time in the American politics, it wasn't like you didn't really do negative ads. Like you didn't really do hits on your opponent. It was all about why you're special and whatever. But Mitch decided to run an ad with the help of Roger Ailes that was essentially saying the incumbent Democrat was not attending the votes in the Senate and instead going off to speeches and getting money for speaking engagements and stuff like that.
Interesting.
So it was known as like the Bloodhound ad. It was like these, a guy with 3 bloodhounds like looking for the senator. So that ended up having a pretty big impact, I guess. He ended up winning the election.
Yikes.
After a big deficit in the beginning.
Another win.
It also was, at the same time, it was Ronald Reagan was sweeping through the United States, where he won literally every state in the presidential election besides Minnesota.
Wow.
Which, Minnesota, you are the GOAT still.
The GOAT.
You are the consciousness that this country needs.
Yeah.
He joins the Senate in 1984, where he begins his career. How do I want to phrase this? So when Republicans go to office, or when you go to office, generally as a politician, you have said on the campaign trail that you're here to fight for David against Goliath. McConnell said, fuck all that. I am Team Goliath. So one of the first corporations or, I don't know, influential entities that he hitched his wagon to was Big Tobacco.
Oh, smart man.
Big Tobacco.
Smart thinking.
He was a major advocate for everything Big Tobacco. He voted against the FDA regulating tobacco, and he also was in opposition to smoking on airplanes. So really with history, like he really knew the right side of history.
Yeah, somebody's got to be.
The joke of it all, though, is that he personally didn't smoke.
Of course not.
He personally didn't smoke, but he was definitely advocating for everybody to smoke. There's even publications of him saying, allegedly, that smoking doesn't cause cancer. It doesn't cause adverse health effects.
Beast.
He pretty much hit all the Big Tobacco talking points, and that was his mantra.
What a good guy.
What a great guy.
Winning.
He also collected the most money from Big Tobacco. He was the largest beneficiary of their lobbying efforts.
And he didn't share with us.
No, unfortunately not.
That's kind of rude.
And it's sad that at this whole time as he's, advocating for big tobacco, Kentucky was the state suffering with the most tobacco-related deaths.
Wow.
But obviously Mitch's priorities were in order.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to his new wife, though.
Let's do it.
1933, Mitch finds a new boo, and her name is Elaine Chao.
Oh.
She is a billionaire shipping heiress.
Oh.
Yeah. With potential relations with the China Communist Party that's been floated, but, you know, there's no evidence that I have. But this became like the nightmare power couple that nobody wanted.
Yeah.
Because Elaine came with a lot of money and business access. Her sister was the one running the company. But then Mitch came in with like the politics. So she was the like private business side, and then he was like the government side, and the two of them were a match made in hell.
They were running the gambit, huh?
She ended up becoming the transportation secretary under Bush.
Really?
And then the labor secretary under Trump, or vice versa.
Jesus.
No, she was labor secretary under Bush and then transportation under Trump, I believe. So she's made her way into like some
She's been around.
pretty, substantial positions of power.
For real.
He marries his wife. They're fucking around. They're doing things. And then in 2006, Mitch becomes the Republican leader in the Senate.
Yikes.
The Republicans didn't have the majority at the time, so he was the minority leader. But, as soon as they got the majority, he became the majority leader. That's how it works. But 2006, this was right before Obama was elected. But the writing was on the wall because everybody, campaigns 5 years in advance before an election. But Obama wins in 2008. And in 2010, as the Republicans took the majority, he said, quote, "The single most important thing we want to achieve as Republicans is for President Obama to be a one-term president."
Yikes.
This is the beginning of what I believe is going to be Mitch McConnell's lasting legacy, which is just pure obstructionism. Yeah. His whole ethos, everything he did as the majority leader during the Obama years was to just fuck over anything Barack wanted to do. Even if there was agreement on both sides. Nope. Immediately no. As somebody who claims to not be racist, this seems pretty racially motivated there, Mitch.
I would say yes.
That as the first black president of the United States, you're going to say, I'm going to do everything in our power to make him a one-term president.
Crazy.
At the same time, the country is reeling in the most devastating financial crisis since the Great Depression.
Yep.
And has 2 wars happening. What the fuck? Crazy. Crazy.
Beast.
Now we're in like the obstruction era of Mitch McConnell.
Here we go.
And one of his favorite tools in the obstruction era was the filibuster.
The filibuster.
Yeah. So a filibuster just means you talk a bill to death. You just kind of prevent a vote from happening, and
you just use up all the time.
Pretty much. Yeah. But the Senate is like, the rules are stupid because to break a filibuster, you needed 60 senators to agree, which has never happened and won't happen.
Right.
And then you could do something where it's like a no-talk filibuster, where before the rule was like you have to be physically on the floor, standing the entire time and filibustering. Okay. That was the rule. But something happened. I think it was the Democrats that changed the rule. It might have been Harry Reid. Somebody can fact check me and shoot me an email.
Somebody changed the rule.
But somebody changed the rule where you could just like say you're filibustering and then everybody goes away.
It's crazy.
It was insane. And that rule recently changed back to where like you have to be standing. That's when like Cory Booker was on the floor for the longest time. Mm-hmm. But at this time in this era of Mitch McConnell, it was you could just say you're filibustering and everyone's just like, okay. It was really dumb. So to kind of get things moving along for Barack, especially because part of the Senate's job is to advise and consent over presidential appointments. So for federal judiciary and as well as like cabinet positions.
Right.
He wanted to block pretty much all of Obama's judicial appointments. Oh my And he was pretty successful at most of it. By the end of Barack's second term, there was a lot of vacancies that Trump was able to fill because Mitch refused to let it happen. And the most prolific one was probably in 2016 when Antonin Scalia died. He was the Republican stronghold on the court for decades. Dead at like a ranch somewhere. Like he was on a vacation in some ranch and then dead. So this happened early on in 2016. Like there was still a lot of time before the presidential election.
Yeah.
But Mitch made up a rule that said you can't appoint a Supreme Court justice during a presidential election year or whatever. And so Obama's appointment of Merrick Garland just didn't happen. Sat empty until Trump came into office, and his choice was Neil Gorsuch.
Another one bites the dust.
Another one bites the dust. And that was in 2017 when Neil Gorsuch came on. After 2016, Trump gets elected, right? 2020, Ruth Bader Ginsburg dies. And this is also an election year.
Yeah.
Right. So per Mitch's rule, we should not be appointing any Supreme Court justices.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. If that's the rule Mitch said.
If that's your rule, Mitch said you can go fuck yourself. And they forced through Amy Coney Barrett weeks before the election. People had actually already voted during her confirmation hearings. So the hypocrisy is to the nth degree. It's bad if you do it, but it's good if I do it.
That's just no fun.
And that's power. That's Mitch just playing power.
Yeah.
It really is. But kind of the joke of it all, it's not a joke, but like Mitch and Trump hated each other. That was sad, is that they really couldn't stand each other, but they needed each other. Mitch needed Trump's people, and Trump needed Mitch's money. And so they were forced to kind of play niceties. And Mitch would occasionally like say some things about the president that he didn't agree with. But at the end of the day, he voted with him for everything. He gave Trump everything he wanted.
That's crazy.
The saddest part of it all was probably on January 6th. So when the insurrection happened, and it's 100% Trump's fault.
Yeah.
Mitch gets on the floor of the Senate and says the president is responsible and he should be held responsible in the courts. But then when the vote to impeach the president comes, he chooses not to impeach.
Wild.
And it's all because party over country. He can't let a Republican be impeached. He won't. If Clinton couldn't be impeached, he couldn't let Trump be impeached, because it's all about the image of the Republican Party, because that's all he fucking cares about is the Republican Party and power and money. He does not give a shit about anything else.
Terrible.
He's a terrible man, hence why he's an asshole.
Yeah. Amen to that.
So this is now, we're kind of approaching the end of Mitch's career.
Yeah.
In 2024, he went viral because he kind of glitched out in some press conferences.
Really?
Yeah, like he kind of had like a dementia break, or he went nonverbal, and to the point where people had like come up behind him and be like, "Senator, you okay? Mitch, you want to go to your office?" Like, it was bad. There was one occasion where it was, on the, complete international stage. And then there was another one where it was more local, but it still went viral.
Wow.
So after those periods, that's when Mitch stepped down from leadership, and, he said he wasn't going to be running for Senate again.
Yeah.
And I believe John Thune or something is the new majority leader.
Well, it had to end at some point.
It did have to end.
Goodness.
And he is going to leave office as one of the most disliked politicians in American history.
He's putting up insane numbers.
Yep. I mean, he did very well for himself financially. He married a billionaire wife. And he definitely sucked up to a lot of big money interests. I believe he's responsible for the Republican Party that we have today. In tandem with his obstruction and anti-Obama-ness, bring in Trump and that whole bigot, spigot type of behavior, especially with Fox News and all of that happening.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise that this is where we are today.
It's a shame, though, nonetheless.
But he is a man, and his lasting legacy is party over politics. Racism is totally cool. I love sexism. Let's grab every woman by the pussy, and that totally means you can be president. Storm the Capitol, beat up police officers, kill police officers. You've committed a crime, but you should still be president. And anything for the big money. The bigger the money, the better the smoke. Big Tobacco is loving life. Bring it back. Let's do Big Jewel and let's do, I don't know, Big Posh or whatever the fucking vapes are.
I'm in. Let's just capitalize.
You know, this man was corruption to the nth degree.
Yeah, gotta make the money.
And this is where we are. So what do you think? What do you think of Mitch?
I think he's pretty terrible, and I feel like so the only thing that I would do similar with Mitch is if Big Tobacco gave me a shit ton of money. And they were just like, tell everybody that you smoke.
Here's the talking points.
Yeah, they're just like, tell everybody that you smoke cigs and run marathons, and it doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah.
And just keep saying that. And you know, I don't necessarily blame him for that, but the rest of the stuff I think is a big thumbs down. I think
it's wild that this man went from marching on Washington in 1963 to saying that the first black president of the United States should never be president ever again.
Yeah, that's insanity.
Without anything actually happening of consequence, because all Obama needed to do at this time was to fix the economy and save America.
Literally.
And McConnell says, fuck you, you can never be president again.
Fuck you.
It's so baffling to me. But, you know, he's somebody I think about occasionally. And I think about what he did.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy that somebody with his background turned into what he did. He could have been good.
There had to be something big that happened.
I don't know if the switch was like he found power and he really fell into it and he did and was going to do anything for power.
Right.
Or if he really was a, you know, racist Alabama bigot from the beginning.
I'm sure he was.
It's hard to say. I mean, you were born in Alabama in 1942. Odds are you didn't like black people.
Probably.
But who's to say?
Who's to say? Not me.
So that's it. I have no other segments today. I really was just those two. I didn't want to push it too far. Stay tuned for our other podcast, Sofa Tomatoes and Sofa Survivors. We're going to start a new season of Sofa Survivors.
Yeah.
That's going to be really exciting for next week.
Do you remember what season it is?
Season 17.
That's right.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Check it out. And I appreciate anybody who takes a second to listen. Truly.
Me too.
So, thanks for that, you guys. Be safe. Bye-bye.
I love you.